Hello and welcome everybody, this is Averix and I'm going to be giving you PC games US release dates for March 2022. Also, you can check for a pinned comment below for information about delayed games. Battle Cry of Freedom is an online multiplayer that allows you to take part in the most famous clashes during the American Civil War. The game has both first and third person real-time combat. Up to 500 players will be able to take part in battles at the same time. Releasing on PC through Steam, March 1st, 2022. Conan Chop Chop is a party action roguelike for 1 through 4 players and a take on Conan the Barbarian in the style of a 2D cartoon. Features include co-op, different characters to choose from, leveling up your characters, item combinations, a procedurally generated world, and boss fights. Releasing on PC through Steam, March 1st, 2022. Elex 2 is an open-world RPG and a sequel to Elex. The character Jax must once again unite the free people of the science fantasy world of Magellan against a new threat, the Skyans, who want to change the face of the planet forever. The game allows you to freely explore the planet of Magellan and traverse the map using a jetpack. Interact with a lived-in world full of NPCs who will remember what you've done and react accordingly. Join or leave your group depending on how you behave and are able to be killed, which will have an effect on the story. Both close and ranged combat will be available with an improved control system. This game's story will have moral decisions and your actions will have consequences. Releasing on PC through Steam, GOG, and Epic Store March 1st, 2022. Far Changing Tides is the second entry in the Far series. In this game, you follow the adventure of a boy and his ship as he goes on a voyage to find a new home. You'll have to navigate storms and keep your ship functioning by unlocking parts, fixing faults, and searching the ocean for fuel and salvage. There will be new environments, puzzles, and ship mechanics. Releasing on PC through Steam and Epic Store March 1st, 2022. Little Orpheus is a side-scrolling action-adventure game where you play the role of a Soviet cosmonaut exploring the inside of the Earth. Originally released for iOS devices in 2020, a remastered version will now be releasing for PC and consoles. Features include remastered visuals, high-res textures, new moves and animations, enhanced graphics and lighting effects, and more. There will also be a bonus 9th episode called A Rush of Onion to the Head, and a mode called The Lost Recordings. Releasing on PC through Steam and Epic Store March 1st, 2022. Puzzle Quest 3 is a match 3 puzzle combat RPG and the latest entry in the Puzzle Quest series. Players will take on the roles of heroes who must save their world from destruction. Releasing on PC through Steam as an early access game March 1st, 2022. Shadow Warrior 3 is the next entry in the Shadow Warrior series. It's a series of first-person dynamic action games that blend shooting and melee combat. The series is also known for its humor and one-liners. Shadow Warrior 3 takes place in neo-feudal Japan, a mythic Asian land infused with the magic and technology of ancient samurai, now overrun by the demonic yokoi from Japanese folklore. Gameplay includes movement techniques such as air dashes, wall running, double jumps, and being able to activate hazardous structures and devices to add another layer of creative choice to an offensive strategy. Releasing on PC through Steam and GOG March 1st, 2022. Babylon's Fall is a brand new take on developer Platinum Games' signature combat. In this cooperative action RPG, you take on the role of a sentinel, once conscripted prisoners of the Empire who are granted unrivaled powers by a parasitic device implanted to their back, the Gideon Coffin. You'll be able to team up with up to 3 players and ascend the Tower of Babel. Releasing on PC through Steam March 3rd, 2022. Beholder 3 is the next entry in the Beholder series. It's a point-and-click political simulation game where you play the role of a man forced to work as a government spy for a totalitarian state. He must go undercover as the manager of an apartment building. Features include working 2 jobs, choosing between different political factions fighting for power, completing quests for the ministry, installing surveillance cameras and searching apartments and buildings, and maintaining your cover by doing everyday chores. Releasing on PC through Steam, GOG, and Epic Store March 3rd, 2022. Vox Machinae is a multiplayer mech battle simulator that can be played on normal screens or in VR. You can play offline, on a local network, or online with up to 16 players. All game modes can be played with 2 to 4 teams. VR has full motion control support with a myriad of grabbable controls. Crossplay is included between VR and non-VR players with full support for Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and mixed reality. Releasing on PC through Steam March 3rd, 2022. A Musical Story is a rhythm game set against a 70s backdrop. Explore the memories of Gabriel, a young man trying to come to terms with his situation through the connections to his musical memory. Each correctly played melody opens a new chapter into Gabriel's past, bringing him closer to the truth. The game's soundtrack features 26 songs composed and performed by Charles Barden and Valentine Duclos. Releasing on PC through Steam and GOG March 4th, 2022. Have a Nice Death is a 2D action platformer game with roguelike elements. You play the role of Death and wander through sections of Death Inc., eliminating hordes of enemies and facing powerful bosses. Releasing on PC through Steam as an early access game March 8th, 2022. Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sister is a virtual reality shooter using the Warhammer 40,000 license. In this game, you play the role of a member of the Order Adepta Sororitas, the Battle Sister. The game will have both single player and co-op. Releasing on PC through Steam March 8th, 2022. WWE 2K22 is the next entry in the 2K Wrestling sports game series. The game features a new visual effects engine, new camera angles, rescanned superstars, different environments, new controls, and more. The game also introduces My GM, where you will be able to take on the role of a WWE General Manager. The game will officially release for PC through Steam on March 8th, 2022 for those who purchase the Deluxe Edition or the NWO for Life Edition, and will be delayed until March 11th, 2022 for everyone else. Assassin's Creed Valhalla: Dawn of Ragnarok is the third major expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The DLC is inspired by Norse mythology and lets you take on the role of Odin, who is searching for his son. Releasing on PC through Ubisoft Connect March 10th, 2022. Aztech Forgotten Gods is a 3D platformer action-adventure game that follows the character Actili, a young Aztec woman in her quest to become a hero by wielding the power of the gods. You'll be able to explore a technologically advanced modern Aztec city that is also heavily rooted in an ancient traditional Mesoamerican-inspired world and face off against gigantic creatures resembling deities from the Aztec pantheon. Releasing on PC through Steam and Epic Store March 10th, 2022. Distant Worlds 2 is a sequel and new entry in the 4X subgenre of real-time strategy games. The game takes place in space with a large world scale and allows you to customize gameplay to your own preferences. Releasing on PC through Steam, GOG, and Epic Game Store March 10th, 2022. Grand Mountain Adventure Wonderlands is an open-world skiing and snowboarding game. You can freely explore entire ski resorts and the surrounding mountains at your own pace. You can also unlock ski lifts, reach new areas by competing in challenges, or enjoy the scenery while you find your own path down the mountain. Single player and local multiplayer with up to 4 players will be available. Releasing on PC through Steam March 10th, 2022. No Place Like Home. In this farming simulator, humanity trashed the Earth and left for Mars while only few remained. Your goal is to restore the environment and run your own post-apocalyptic farm. You'll explore the world, clean the environment, craft with recycled resources, domesticate animals, and rebuild your village. Releasing on PC through Steam March 10th, 2022. RPG Time: The Legend of Wright is a colorful RPG game set in an imaginary fantasy world created on a children's desk from pencil sketches, cardboard cutouts, and other everyday objects. Releasing on PC through Steam March 10th, 2022. Submerged: Hidden Depths is a standalone sequel to Submerged. The sequel is a third-person exploration game set in a world of water and ruins. You'll play as siblings, one determined to use her curse for good, the other determined to not let it destroy them. Navigate the waters and whitecaps as you scour the city ruins for the seeds of its salvation. Releasing on PC through Steam and Epic Store March 10th, 2022. Wingbreakers is a battle airplane racing game. You'll have to survive airfights full of missile-loaded planes, drones, and angry animals. You can play solo or team up with other players online and in split-screen mode. Releasing on PC through Steam March 10th, 2022. The Elder Scrolls Online Ascending Tide is an expansion for the MMORPG The Elder Scrolls Online. The expansion acts as an introduction to the events in the High Isles chapter. Your main task is to explore the remains of the once proud All Flags fleet and storm the coastal hideout of the mysterious Ascendant Order. Releasing on PC through Steam March 14th, 2022. X4 Tides of Avarice is the third expansion pack for the space simulator X4 Foundations. This expansion adds new factions, additional sectors and ships, stellar phenomena that will significantly influence your plans and actions, shipwreck salvaging, and more. Releasing on PC through Steam and GOG March 14th, 2022. Phantom Breaker Omnia is a fast-paced 2D anime fighting game and an expanded version of Phantom Breaker Extra. Features include the availability of all characters from the previous game in addition to 2 new characters, 3 different fighting styles to choose from, an overhauled and rebalanced fighting system, English voice acting for all characters with translated text for other languages, and a remixed soundtrack. Releasing on PC through Steam March 15th, 2022. Tunic is an isometric action-adventure game. You play as an anthropomorphic fox who explores a fantasy land full of treasures and monsters. The game has a fictional language and the plot is told mostly through pictures and events. Releasing on PC through Steam March 16th, 2022. ANNO Mutationem is an action-adventure game with RPG elements set in a cyberpunk world, featuring a mix of pixelated 2D and 3D graphic style. You'll play as the character Anne, a highly skilled combat-trained lone wolf in the giant metropolis full of sinister megacorporations, mysterious friends groups, and creatures. The story features the main character Anne Flores and her sidekick Ayane on a personal mission to find out where her missing brother has gone to. You will be able to collect, buy, or craft items and upgrade Anne's stats, skills, and gear. You'll also use chips to modify any kind of weapon you find. Releasing on PC through Steam March 17th, 2022. Monster Energy Supercross 5 is the next entry in a series of motorcycle racing games that allows you to test yourself in Supercross. It recreates the 2021 season of the Monster Energy Supercross Championship and offers many new features compared to previous installments. Releasing on PC through Steam March 17th, 2022. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is an updated version of Persona 4 Arena, which is a fighting game spin-off for Persona 3 and Persona 4. The Ultimax version includes all previously released Persona 4 Arena Ultimax content, including the original Persona 4 Arena story. Releasing on PC through Steam March 17th, 2022. The Settlers is a real-time strategy game that tells the story of settlers that were forced to leave their homeland because of a powerful earthquake. They must search for a new home and discover an ancient mystery that will change their life. Players must provide wellness to the citizens of the settlements the players create by improving the military and economic state of the settlement. The game also enables players to impact the political situation in other settlements by challenging the rival commanders to arena fights. Both single-player, co-op, and PvP will be available. Releasing on PC through Ubisoft Connect and Epic Store March 17th, 2022. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins is an action RPG spin-off of the main Final Fantasy series. In this game, Jack must take on numerous challenges to bring the Light of the Crystals back to Cornelia, a kingdom conquered by darkness. You'll fight your way through battles with a variety of means to defeat your enemies. With multiple difficulty options and a selection of jobs and weapons available to customize your party, you can choose exactly how you want to play. The game will officially release on PC through Steam and Epic Store on March 15th, 2022 for those who pre-order, and will be delayed until March 18th, 2022 for everyone else. Syberia: The World Before is the fourth entry in the Syberia series, a series of point-and-click puzzle adventure and exploration games. Players will once again take on the role of Kate Walker, who goes on a new journey through various lands. Releasing on PC through Steam, GOG, and Epic Store March 18th, 2022. Itorah is a 2.5D action platformer. You play as Itorah, the only human in the world of Nahuken. You'll explore, fight, and survive to uncover your past and save Nahuken from its biggest threat, a mysterious plague. Releasing on PC through Steam and GOG March 21st, 2022. Orbital Bullet is a fast-paced 360-degree action platformer with roguelike elements where all actions take place in a circular pattern. You'll fight your way through a variety of procedural planets and use body modifications, crafting, and heavy weaponry. Releasing on PC through Steam March 21st, 2022. Ghostwire Tokyo is a first-person action-adventure game. Tokyo's population has vanished and deadly supernatural forces prowl the streets. Wield a combination of upgradable elemental powers and ghost hunting skills to combat the supernatural threat. Use your ethereal abilities to ascend to the top of the Tokyo skyline and soar over the streets to discover new missions or even get the drop on your enemies. The game will officially release on PC through Steam and Epic Store on March 22nd, 2022 for those who purchased the deluxe edition, and will be delayed until March 25th, 2022 for everyone else. A Memoir Blue is a narrative adventure game where you play as an athlete swimmer named Miriam who dives into her own memories to recall her troubled past. The game blends hand-drawn and 3D art. The developers describe the game as an interactive poem about a superstar athlete and the all-encompassing love between mother and daughter. Releasing on PC through Steam March 24th, 2022. Lumote is a 3D puzzle platformer about two opposing powers in a struggle for control. Blue power controlled by Lumote and red by the Master Mote. You play as Lumote, a bioluminescent creature whose only abilities are to jump and possess. You must take control of the world's inhabitants, the motes, and use their abilities to progress. Depending on whose power controls a mote, their behavior will either help or hinder you on your journey into the depths as you search for the Master Mote. Releasing on PC through Steam, GOG, and Epic Games Store March 24th, 2022. NORCO is a Southern Gothic point-and-click narrative adventure game. The story is your brother Blake has gone missing in the aftermath of your mother's death. In the hopes of finding him, you must follow a fugitive security android through the refineries, strip malls, and drainage ditches of suburban New Orleans. Releasing on PC through Steam March 24th, 2022. Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a first-person looter shooter and a spin-off of the Borderlands series. Tiny Tina's Wonderland takes place in a fantasy tabletop realm guided by Tiny Tina where rules rarely apply. You'll explore cities, forests, fortresses, and more. Combat will include guns and spells. You'll be able to play alone or play with up to 4 players. Releasing on PC through Epic Store March 25th, 2022. King Arthur Knight's Tale is a hybrid between turn-based tactical games and traditional character-centric RPGs. It's a modern retelling of a classic Arthurian mythology story filtered through the dark fantasy tropes, a twist on the traditional tales of chivalry. Releasing on PC through Steam March 29th, 2022. From legendary game creator Hideo Kojima comes the definitive director's cut version of Death Stranding. You play as Sam Bridges and your mission is to deliver hope to humanity by collecting the last survivors of a post-apocalyptic America. Releasing on PC through Steam and Epic Store March 30th, 2022. Coromon. Coromon is a 2D RPG and a modern take on the classic monster taming genre. Tame the creatures known as Coromon and explore the world, have turn-based battles, solve puzzles, and confront a mysterious threat to the world. Releasing on PC through Steam and Epic Store March 31st, 2022. Starship Troopers Terran Command is a real-time strategy game set in the Starship Troopers movies universe. You'll take command of the mobile infantry and do your part in the war against the arachnid threat. Releasing on PC through Steam and GOG March 31st, 2022. Weird West is an action-adventure RPG and simulation game. It reimagines the Wild West as a dark fantasy where lawmen and gunslingers share the frontier with fantastical creatures, each playing with their own rules and their own peculiar motives. The game supports different styles of play in a simulated sandbox world where characters, factions, and even places react to a player's decisions. Releasing on PC through Steam March 31st, 2022. Which one of these games are you looking forward to? If this video was informative or helpful to you in any way, I would appreciate a positive rating. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.